VOA News. I'm Christopher Cruz reporting. U.S.-based Saudi dissident Jamal Khashoggi was murdered in a ferocious manner. Those words from President Recep Tayyip Erdoğan Tuesday in a speech to the Turkish parliament. He said Saudi Arabia carried out the killing in its Istanbul consulate 3 weeks ago in a premeditated plot. He dismissed Saudi Arabia's claim that rogue agents were responsible. He said all evidence gathered shows that Jamal Khashoggi was the victim of a savage murder. To cover up such savagery would hurt the human conscience. In Russia today for talks on an INF treaty, U.S. National Security Adviser John Bolton talked about President Trump's concern about Khashoggi's death.
He has heard both the king and the crown prince deny that they had any involvement in this tragedy. Secretary of State Pompeo has just come back from Saudi Arabia, where he met with both of them and is in really continuing discussions. We need to get to the bottom of this, and we need to have a truthful explanation.
On Tuesday at the State Department, Pompeo said the U.S. has identified at least some of the Saudi officials involved in the killing and is revoking their visas. A high-profile economic forum is taking place in the Saudi capital. It's Saudi Arabia's first major event on the world stage since the recent killing of Khashoggi. Numerous high-profile business leaders and government officials are boycotting the kingdom's future investment initiative in Riyadh in response to Khashoggi's death. Among those absent from the conference are U.S. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin and International Monetary Fund Chief Christine Lagarde, along with the heads of corporate giants. This is VOA News. U.S. National Security Adviser John Bolton said Tuesday that plans are being made for President Trump to meet with Russian leader Vladimir Putin next month in Paris. Bolton said in Moscow he raised the issue of Russia's interference in U.S. elections and warned that continuing to do so would be counterproductive for Russia. Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May continues to try to persuade skeptical members of the British Parliament to back her plan for leaving the European Union by next March.
Serving our national interest will demand that we hold our nerve through these last stages of the negotiations, the hardest part of all. It will mean not giving in to those who want to stop Brexit with a politician's vote.
Ms. May is negotiating an exit with the EU that addresses post-Brexit relations with the European Union. The UN Refugee Agency has sent dozens of staff members to southern Mexico in an effort to help stabilize a chaotic situation and screen the asylum claims of many of the thousands of people in a migrant caravan heading toward the United States. Correspondent Lisa Schlein reports for VOA from UNHCR headquarters in Geneva.
More than 45 UN refugee staff have arrived in Tapachula in Chiapas State, Mexico, and others are on their way. The UNHCR says conditions on the ground appear to be somewhat calmer and more orderly than in previous days, but UNHCR spokesman Adrian Edwards says with some 7,000 desperate people on the move, the situation could change at any time.
Many people having food, water, health and other needs. There's also kidnapping and security risks in areas the caravan may venture into.
Vietnam's rubber-stamped National Assembly elected Communist Party General Secretary Nguyen Phu Trong as the country's president on Tuesday. The 74-year-old Trong is the first Vietnamese leader to hold the two positions concurrently since the founding President Ho Chi Minh in the 1960s. The U.S. National Hurricane Center says Hurricane Willa is weakening a bit before making landfall. It's still a Category 5 storm in the Pacific, heading toward the western coast of Mexico. U.S. stocks rebounded from steep early losses by the close of Tuesday's trading. At one point, the Dow was down 500 points, but it recovered all but 0.5% by the end of the day. Investors may have been worried by raising trade tensions that could harm global economic growth and a disappointing profit outlook for some major American companies. There's more on these and other late-breaking and developing stories from around the world around the clock at voanews.com and on the VOA News mobile app. I'm Christopher Cruz, VOA News.